So on today's Card Academy lesson, we have a fairly simple control that uses the overhand shuffle to control potentially multiple cards to the top of the deck. Now, I had taught this many years ago on the Academy originally. However, I taught it as a full deck preservation shuffle. So you're preserving the entire deck as you're doing this control. Now, for this one, you are not necessarily preserving the deck, but it does allow you to control multiple cards using the exact same technique. So let's get right into it and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Emulating participants in our Magic is very important. The reason for that is because they're less likely to suspect anything if we carry out the same actions that they would. So for example, if we shuffle the cards like this, it's very likely that they're going to lower their guard. If we shuffle the cards like this and we ask somebody to place their card back there in the middle, we then close it up and cut the deck that way, they might be a little bit suspicious. So this one is a control using the overhand shuffle. So for this, you're going to ask a participant to select any card. Let's say they select the Queen of Hearts. You're going to have them just put the card here as you shuffle the cards. And of course, it's a very fair shuffle. You mix the cards up, and in that action, guess what? We control the Queen of Hearts at the top of the deck. Now, as I mentioned before, this also works with multiple cards. So if you want to control multiple cards, it still works using the exact same method. So in this case, we're going to lose that Queen of Hearts somewhere in the middle of the deck. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the other queen, placing it right there, again, lost in the middle of the deck, never to be seen ever again. And of course, guess what? We controlled both of those cards directly to the top of the deck. So one thing that I love about this particular idea is, again, we're emulating a normal shuffle that you'll see a participant actually do. So here's the actions. First thing you're going to do is you're going to shuffle off a couple cards, maybe less than a third of the deck, into your left hand. Now here, you're going to offer the participant to place their card back as you shuffle the deck. So we're going to keep their card face up for the sake of explanation, and it's going to be the Jack of Clubs for this particular example. Now, what's going to happen is a number of things at once. As I come in to apparently take a chunk of cards and place it on top of the Jack, what's actually going to happen is that I'm going to press this Jack against the back of the deck. Now, my ring finger is actually going to come in contact with this card and the rest of the packet as I supposedly drop a chunk of cards on top of their selected card. Really, it's actually over here being held by the ring finger and the right hand. So now I can continue shuffling these cards while holding that packet until I want to. So at any point in time, I could either take the remaining cards with my thumb like this and shuffle the card to the top, or if I want, what I could do is I could just simply drop that packet on the face here and then break this in the middle and drop that in the middle so that now it looks like I've just cut the cards after a shuffle. So either way, what you have is essentially a way that looks like you are mixing the cards haphazardly, but really you're in control the entire time. So what's great about this is that it's the same thing as a variation using a Hindu shuffle, however, using an overhand shuffle. So we're just chopping that card, shuffling it deeper into the deck, but really we're bringing it directly to the top. So with two cards, it's going to be the exact same thing. However, we're going to add one additional shuffle just to make it a little bit more deceptive. So in this case, two cards are selected. We do the exact same thing to control one card to the top of the deck. I'm going to leave it actually face up for the sake of explanation. It's going to go back here. My ring finger and the rest of the cards are going to hold it as I squeeze both of this, allowing another chunk to fall in the hand, supposedly on the same packet. Really, the packet is over here. And I'm going to control that card directly to the top of the deck. Now at this point, I'm actually going to carry out a similar shuffle with one different variation. So in order to control two cards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off approximately 5 to 6 cards and place them in my left hand. Now at this point, this packet gets placed much the same, being held by the ring finger, as I take another 5 to 6 cards and shuffle off at this point. Now as my hands come together, what's going to happen is I'm going to drop that packet from behind onto this packet in my left hand. This is going to be what I offer to the participant to place their card back. Now at this point, I'm going to repeat the exact same thing. And here, you've dropped approximately a third of the deck, the exact same thing as before. So now I'm going to place these cards behind exactly in the same exact position, shuffle off, holding that packet behind the actual overhand shuffle sequence, and then whenever I want, I could just bring that to the top and control both those cards. So at speed, the movement would look like this. The first participant will put their card back, I shuffle the deck, and then the second participant puts their card back there, I shuffle the deck, and of course, in that action, both cards are controlled to the top of the deck. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a variation of a Hindu shuffle control that does the exact same thing. So in this case, the participant would place their card back. In the action of doing a shuffle, we would apparently control that card to the top of the deck while losing it thoroughly into the deck. So we're doing the exact same thing, but with an overhand shuffle. Simple and clean, my friends. It's not just a song from a popular video game, Kingdom Hearts, showing you a little bit of my weebery. It's also this control. Simple, effective, clean, concise, no frills. This is what I love. Now, you are going to have to work a little bit hard in order to get the actual pile hiding behind the packet. You don't want to have a massive gap. You want to have that gap be as small as possible, but still have a right grip on it so that you don't actually lose the packet. So I found that a simple technique that helps is that I actually squeeze the pile right before I chop off another chunk. What this does is that it ensures that the break is as small as possible and you're not going to flash from other sides. Now, it does help if you have a messy shuffle, like right here, as a matter of fact, because that messy shuffle is actually hiding that packet from behind. So it's a very effective way of controlling cards, a very effective way of shuffling if you want to use this as a false shuffle. And I think that this is a tremendous control to add to your repertoire. But that's the lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for being members of the PigCake Card Academy, and I hope to see you on the next one.